The world was locked in a Cold War, a tense standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union. Two superpowers, each armed with nuclear arsenals, faced off in a global contest for influence, ideology, and technological supremacy. Instead of direct conflict, the rivalry soared into space. The heavens became the new battlefield, where every achievement was a demonstration of power and prestige. This wasn't just about science. It was about proving which nation had the brains, the tech, and the will to lead humanity's future. Every breakthrough was a message to the world. We are the leaders of tomorrow. The Soviets struck first. Sputnik, the first satellite, shocked the world and signaled a new era. Suddenly, space was no longer the realm of science fiction. Then came the first animal, the first man, and the first woman in space. Each milestone was a bold statement of Soviet capability and ambition. America was reeling, desperate to catch up. The pressure was immense and the stakes felt higher with every Soviet success. The space race became a high-stakes contest, each launch a headline, each failure a national crisis. The world watched, breathless, as the two giants traded victories and setbacks. Both sides poured resources into innovation, pushing technology at breakneck speed. Laboratories buzzed with activity, and engineers worked around the clock, driven by the urgency of the moment. In just over a decade, we went from launching satellites to planning a trip to the moon. The pace of progress was staggering, and the impossible began to seem within reach. President Kennedy set the ultimate challenge: land a man on the moon and return him safely before the decade was out. It was a bold promise, one that would define a generation. The technology didn't exist yet. The risks were enormous. Every step forward meant venturing into the unknown with no guarantee of success. But the finish line was set, and the world was watching. People everywhere gathered around televisions, united in anticipation and awe. This was more than a race, it was a battle for the future. The outcome would shape not just national pride, but the very direction of human destiny. The moon became the ultimate prize, a symbol of destiny and national pride. Planting a flag there would echo through history. The stakes? Nothing less than the narrative of human progress. The journey from the first flight to the first steps on another world was unfolding before our eyes. The Cold War's greatest contest would play out above our heads, in the vast, silent expanse of space. The countdown to the moon had begun. Every second, every decision brought humanity closer to a new frontier. And there was no turning back. The world was committed, and the next giant leap was just over the horizon. With Kennedy's bold challenge, NASA was tasked with turning the impossible into reality. The world watched as the United States committed itself to a goal that had never been attempted before: landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth. The Apollo program was born, a daring mission to send 3 astronauts to the moon and bring them home. It would require new technology, new ideas, and a level of teamwork never seen before in the history of space exploration. The Saturn V rocket, taller than a 36-story building and weighing over 6 million pounds, was engineered to break free from Earth's gravity. Its power was unmatched, and it became the backbone of the Apollo missions. Every component, from the lunar lander to the command module, had to be invented from scratch. There were no blueprints, no instruction manuals, just the determination to succeed. NASA's engineers solved problems no one had ever faced before: navigation without GPS, surviving cosmic radiation, and building computers small enough to fit inside a spacecraft. Even the simplest tasks, like eating or going to the bathroom in zero gravity, required creative solutions and rigorous testing. Each Apollo mission built on the last, testing new hardware, gathering vital data, and pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Apollo 8 sent humans around the moon for the first time, a breathtaking journey that served as a dress rehearsal for the main event. Every step was a calculated risk, each success a leap forward, and every setback a lesson learned. The impossible was being broken down, piece by piece, as the world watched in awe. The stage was set for history, and the dream of walking on the moon was finally within reach. The hardware was ready. Years of innovation, engineering, and relentless testing had produced the most advanced spacecraft the world had ever seen. Now, NASA needed the right people, individuals who could match the technology with courage, intelligence, and unwavering resolve. Apollo 11's crew, Neil Armstrong, the calm, unflappable commander, chosen for his steady nerves and quiet leadership. Buzz Aldrin, the MIT-trained lunar module pilot, whose technical expertise and analytical mind made him indispensable. And Michael Collins, the steady hand piloting the command module, ready to face the solitude of lunar orbit. Armstrong was a test pilot with nerves of steel, famous for saving a spinning spacecraft, and for his calm under pressure, no matter the odds. Aldrin, a doctor of astronautics, literally wrote the book on orbital rendezvous, and his passion for spaceflight was matched only by his precision. Collins, orbiting the moon alone, was the vital link for the return home, carrying the weight of responsibility for his crewmates' safe return. These three trained relentlessly, mastering every scenario, from flawless landings to catastrophic failures, pushing themselves to the limits of human endurance. They trusted each other completely, forging a bond that would be tested in the most unforgiving environment imaginable. Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins weren't just astronauts. They were a team carrying the hopes of a planet, united by a shared mission and a sense of destiny. They knew the risks. They accepted the challenge, understanding that failure was not an option. The world would soon know their names as millions watched and waited, holding their breath for history to unfold. They were ready for the greatest journey in human history, prepared to leave Earth behind and step into the unknown, the right stuff in human form. The countdown was on, destiny awaited, and the world would never be the same. July 16, 1969. The world watched as the Saturn V stood ready at Kennedy Space Center. Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins strapped in, the countdown echoing across the globe. At 9:32 a.m., the engines roared. 7.6 million pounds of thrust, lifting them skyward. In 12 minutes they left Earth's atmosphere, weightless and in orbit. A critical engine burn sent them on a 3-day journey to the moon. The trip was a mix of routine tasks and moments of awe, broadcasts to Earth, glimpses of our fragile planet. The moon grew larger in their window, anticipation building. A precise burn slowed them into lunar orbit. One mistake, and they'd be lost in space or crash. Mission Control and the crew nailed it. They were now circling the moon. The landing was next. The world held its breath. History was about to be made. Armstrong and Aldrin entered the lunar module Eagle and began their descent. Alarms blared, computer overload, but Mission Control gave the go-ahead. Armstrong saw the autopilot aiming for a crater. With fuel running low, he took manual control. With just seconds of fuel left, he landed safely. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Relief and celebration erupted worldwide. Hours later, Armstrong stepped onto the moon. That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. For 2.5 hours they explored, planted the flag, set up experiments, and collected rocks. They bounced in low gravity, describing the landscape as magnificent desolation. Every moment was history. Humanity had reached another world. The impossible was now reality. The world would never be the same. After their moonwalk, Armstrong and Aldrin returned to Eagle for a brief rest. The ascent engine was their only way home, and it worked, thanks to Aldrin's quick fix with a felt-tip pen. They reunited with Collins in lunar orbit, transferred their samples, and jettisoned the lander. One final burn sent them back to Earth. The return trip was quieter, but re-entry was anything but. Columbia blazed through the atmosphere, protected by its heat shield. On July 24, 1969, they splashed down in the Pacific, right on target. Navy divers recovered the crew within minutes. Unsure about moon germs, NASA quarantined the astronauts for 21 days. They were heroes, celebrated from behind glass. The journey was complete. Humanity had touched the moon and come home. Why does Apollo 11 still matter? For a moment, the world united. 650 million people watched as humans walked on the moon. The mission revolutionized science. Moon rocks rewrote our understanding of the solar system. Apollo's tech advances, miniaturized computers, new materials, even cordless tools, still shape our lives. Seeing Earth from the moon inspired the environmental movement, reminding us of our shared home. Apollo 11 proved the impossible is possible. It showed what humanity can achieve together. The legacy is curiosity, courage, and hope. The universe is waiting. The next giant leap is out there. Let's go.